And see you there. Thanks for coming. Just catching up on a little bit of reading. Well, I wanted to give little harmonica tips today. I'm sure by now you're trying to get that elusive single hole in the harmonica. That is one of the hardest things to get. But once you get that single hole, next thing is to develop your strength, your embouchure. And in my playing experience, I only do it two ways, either tongue blocking or in what they call pucker. Once you start to get that single hole, you want to be able to strengthen the muscles in this area and the tongue and your precision in executing a note. The breath is the only thing we really have, as far as I can tell, to strike the reed. Violin players have the bow, their fingers, guitarists have their pick, but we have to use our breath. That breath has to have form, and it has to be precise, and it's not a huffing and a puffing. I've seen people online just giving these examples of going, well, that's not how you play the harmonica. It's very precise. Imagine a guy that's like a karate master and he's breaking bricks. He's not flailing all over the place. It's a very concentrated energy, and it just comes down and it breaks the brick or the board or whatever. It's the same thing with the breath. And it's the only way that I know how to really concentrate that breath and to help you get control over it, as Chamber Wang used to always say, you need to get proper technical control over the harmonica. You should play the harmonica shouldn't play you. And the first technique that I learned from him was in tongue blocking, and he called it the bite technique. And I don't see very many people teaching this, but guys like Robert Von Filio, Chamber Wang, they pretty much use that exclusively in their playing. You don't use it on every note, but it's a way to start the note. So I'm going to read to you from Chamber Wang's own words. This is from stuff that he used to hand out when Honer used to do seminars in New York, in Manhattan. So he writes, the harmonica always rests on the lower lip. If you raise the upper lip slightly and bite on the harmonica, with a blowing or drawing breath, you begin a note. Especially in the lower notes, you'll find that works really well. Physical force of the lip biting action begins the note with the natural accent and the duration of the note. It's carried by the natural flow of the breath. The biting automatically creates a quick separation between notes. Before the upper lip is well developed with a stronger muscle control, the lip biting action may be slow and weak. And for most people, it seems that I've showed this to it. It feels awkward to them at first. I'm going to show it to you on a chromatic harmonica because it seems that you'll be able to see it much better. So you can see that biting action is really pretty quick and pretty precise. When I first started to do it, it was like all over the place. It was like, you just need to slow down at first and do it. So a real nice, easy exercise is just to take either hole 1 or 4, whatever, blow and draw. And first start out just playing on the one note, doing a blow note and a blow note and a draw note in eighth notes. And then you could go to triplets. Or you go to 16th notes. And start out just like that, very easily. Don't force anything. Relax. Don't go any faster than you can actually have the control of playing those notes precisely and evenly. Just simply to explain the rhythms, you can just think of eighth notes as two even notes in the space of one beat. Triplets, 3 even notes in the space of one beat. 16th notes, 4 even notes in the space of one beat. So just start out that way. Later on, I'll show you more ways to move it further into the harmonica. Another way to get a note to start, and a lot of guys use this, but I don't see much explanation on how to develop it once you get a single tone. I'm going to show it to you on a diatonic harmonica, because I use it mostly on a diatonic harmonica, either using it as a rhythmic thing or just using it to get the notes out. Like I said, with the bite technique, use it to get the notes out. With this, it's the same thing. Give the breath form. You've probably heard this a million times. Well, that's all the tongue doing that. So at first, you want to try and get proper technical control over the tongue. Same type of exercise. Oh, sorry. And just start out as simple as that. I have a whole bunch of exercises based on the 16-bar blues that we can go through, and I'll show you each week that you can adapt. You can even use it in your own playing eventually as licks, but it will help you to develop that in a practical way. Once again, the breath needs to have form. This is a way of giving the breath form to strike the reed. It's pretty simple. It's not very complicated. So start off very simply and don't stress anything out. Don't try and force any music out of the harmonica. I see too many people trying to suck the sound out of the harmonica, like that just doesn't work. It's more of a gentle type thing. Very easy, very gentle, no forcing. It's as simple as that, but it just takes time just to become one with the harmonica. So that's the tip for today, and I'll be seeing you every week, I hope. See you later. Hi, this is a little addendum to the actual little lesson on embouchure and how to get notes out. This has to do with the pucker and doing the tonguing. I figure it needs a little more explanation. The tongue actually, you're in pucker, so your mouth isn't blocking like in tongue blocking one side or the other. And the tongue is acting somewhat like a piston. Almost like if you can imagine a spitball, going. I know a lot of guys know how to do this, but most women probably never did it. So, but just kind of going. The tongue actually acts as the gate for the breath back and forth. That's about as much as I can think of how to explain that. Some people like to use little syllables like ta-ta, toot-toot, or whatever. If it works for you, great. I've never used that kind of stuff, but I figured it needed a little more explanation. But each week we'll go on a little bit more about this. Okay, so much for the addendum.